Alright, review time. Gen 3 Glock 19. I want to talk a little bit about it. So, this I bought, I want to say, golly man, 8 years ago? Maybe more, maybe less. Don't hold me to that. It is definitely not the same as when I got it. There's a lot of wear marks on it from using it a lot. I don't baby my stuff, so got a Surefire X300 on it. It's seen some crap. Like I've abused the junk out of it. I mean, it's got beat mark, like where it's been hit on a bunch of stuff all around the bezel there. I went with Surefire because I tried a company, and I'm gonna call them out, not to be a douchebag, because they understood. I tried a company called Insight Technologies, and I had a weapon light on here called the WL1AA, and it was the AA battery version. So when I put something new on my gun, or I go out and train with it. So this specific light, I had ordered a holster from Bravo Company. No, not Bravo Company. Bravo Concealment. And ordered it specifically for that weapon light. It was Kydex. And I started, unholstering, reholstering. And just one day, I mean, I hadn't run this thing very long, or at all, actually. I just unholster, reholster a couple times, to get used to it and kind of get the feel for it. And then I was going to take it out to the range, but I hadn't been able to get out there and, to do any kind of, real training with it to put it through its paces. But, man, I pulled that gun out of the holster one time to activate the light, and the light came on and immediately went off. And then I went to activate it again, and the light flew off the gun. Well, when I found all the pieces, it was in like 3 or 4 pieces, because the way that light was made, Insight had made polymer, and they had screws along the edge there, but the clamping mechanism squeezed the rail, and so that was a weak point along the edge. And I called him and I told him what the deal was, and explained to him that, if somebody asked me about this, I can't recommend this this light to him, because of the issue that it had with not even running it, and it fell off the stinking gun. And so I gave him my opinion, as far as, I was polite. I gave him my opinion as far as maybe they should make it out of like aluminum or some kind of lightweight metal to make it stronger. That might make it work. I mean, it's a good idea, but poor execution, I think. So I've been running Surefire, and any weapon light that I have, if I'm going to trust my life to it, it's going to have that name on it right there. I don't know if you can see that, Surefire, just because I trust them. Like, I've abused any weapon light that I have that's from Surefire, and they keep working. Batteries don't, because batteries suck, but the weapon light keeps working. Alright, moving on. So I've got this super awesome, what a buddy of mine has come to call the iguana grip. It's just stippling that I did myself, just because I don't care about paying $300 to have it done, and I wanted it because I saw value in it, and I have, tried it before. I was like, okay, I like this, and it works for me. It may not work for everybody. Everybody's different. I did Dremel out the magwell cutout, because in training, when you get the gun dirty, the magazine on it doesn't always want to fall out, so sometimes you have to rip it out. So having on the Glock factory base, there was really no way to get my fingers in there. You could do this, but I haven't seen anybody rip a magazine out like this before. I've only ever seen them grab it like this to rip it out, and so I just made a cutout to get my fingers over the lip a little easier, so I can get a good purchase on it. I personally, because I like to break my grip whenever I go to index the magazine release, I beveled it out just because that's me. I can feel the button better as opposed to the way it was designed before. That's not saying I couldn't do it before. It's my gun. I can do whatever I want. Man, there's a lot of wear marks on this from lots of years of training with it. The night sights are Trigicon night sights. I like them. They're pretty vibrant when the lights are off. Do I think you need night sights? No. I don't really have an answer to that question. I'm not going to tell you need them. I mean, I don't know your situation. But I would throw away those Glock factory night sights. Not the Glock factory night. I would throw away the Glock plastic sights that come on the guns. Because, when I, do manipulations and I go to rack my gun off of stuff, I want to have a good solid lip there so that I can, do any kind of one-handed manipulations that I need to do. And those plastic sights are just going to rip off. So these have worked pretty good. I have had some issues with the front sight though. I don't know if it's a design. I don't know if I did something wrong. Or if, I didn't initially install these, but the front sight did come loose twice over the 8 years that I've had it. So I can't really complain over 8 years, I guess. But it did come loose. And I noticed it when I was cleaning, and that's why you should always inspect your guns when you're cleaning to see, if something needs to be changed, fixed, repaired, or whatever. So it's always been Loctited in, and I don't know why it came loose. It's possible that maybe I got the gun hot enough that it loosened up the Loctite. I have no clue. Either way, the sights have worked out really well. I can shoot out to 100 yards with this. Not that you would ever need to shoot that far. I just like knowing that I can. Let's see what else. So the connector in here is a connector from, it came with the skimmer trigger when I purchased the Haley Strategic skimmer trigger for this. So I don't know if it's the 3.5 or the 4-pound disconnector. I don't know. I just know I left it in there. However, this Agency Arms trigger was given to me. I'm not going to name their name. And they wanted me to give it a good review. As you can see, it's dirty as crap. I've been shooting the crud out of it. With this trigger, right now, I think I have 1,000 rounds through it, maybe. I might do a more in-depth review on it when I hear back from the individual to see if they want me to do a video review on the trigger specifically. But I like the flat face of this thing. I wasn't sure about it at first, but it's got a really short take-up. There's not a whole lot of movement there, and it's got a really crisp wall, a really defined wall, and then the trigger pull itself is not very, the reset is not very far at all. Maybe a 1/4 of an inch, maybe an 1/8 of an inch. I'm not really pulling a ruler out to check it or anything, but it's nice and smooth. It's, I think, better than the Glock factory trigger. Way better, actually. But I'm going to give it a little bit more time, but I'm going to go ahead and suggest it now. I think I like it better than the skimmer trigger. It's got the flat face and a little curved base on it, little angled tip. Really, dude? Can't you see I'm doing a video? Turn your machine off. Alright, back at it. So, I really like it. When I get some more rounds through it, I'm gonna probably hand it to a student in one of the classes to see if they can, beat it up for me too. But man, most of the internals are also the same. I only replaced the trigger because it was given to me and because I wanted to. But I wouldn't replace the other stuff. I mean, I thought a couple of, 3 or 4 weeks ago from making this video that I shot the barrel out, and I've heard it goes anywhere between 20,000 rounds, and some barrels have gone up to 50,000 rounds. I thought I had shot the barrel out, just because like my accuracy was all over there, and usually I can put them inside of a quarter at 7 yards, maybe $half, I don't know. But man, my accuracy was all over a 6-inch plate, and I was like, what the crap? And some of them even looked like they were keyholing. That's where the lead part tumbles into the target instead of going straight through. But I put some factory ammo in there because I shoot a lot, so a lot of money goes into ammo. So if I can cut the cost, I'll reload. But I've been reloading for 4 years and haven't really had any issues. Now, that's not to say that I haven't had issues, but like any issues that I would consider, oh, I'm gonna swear off reloading altogether. Now I do reload for my my rifle too, but he gave me a box of factory rounds to shoot, and I rested it on a bench, and I got a hole in the center of the target at 7 yards that was probably a quarter size. And then when I stood up and I shot freehand, I got a hole that was probably a quarter to a $half size. So he said that sometimes, maybe it's just us. Like, you're just having an off day. I was like, all right, well, you're smarter than me. I just know I come out and shoot, I'm fairly accurate. So I wasn't sure what to make of it. But I put my same batch of reloads that I did, that I have in my ammo can, and I went out there and shot, and it was just as accurate as I was 3 or 4 months ago. So I don't know what the deal is. Maybe he was right about telling me that, sometimes we just have off days, and I guess that day was mine. I'll have another one, I'm sure. Anyway, I guess if you have any questions, leave them below, and I'll try to write some stuff in the description. If you ask a stupid question, I'm not going to answer you. Or I might, just because it might be funny. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.